So Google just announced Gemini, and it's officially replacing Bard. And they claim it to be the best large language model and even beats ChatGPT 4. Now, while Google may seem to be behind in this Gen AI race against ChatGPT and Microsoft, let us not forget that the original author that led to the rise of large language models was actually published by Google in the article Attention is All You Need. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt and compare Gemini with ChatGPT 4. I have both windows of ChatGPT and Gemini here, and we're gonna compare the performance of both platforms in three aspects. Namely, the reasoning skills, analytical in terms of accounting, financial accounting, and creative content in terms of generating images. So let's dive in. So one thing you notice with Gemini, it already started with a disclaimer that your conversations are processed by human reviewers for improvement. So don't enter anything you wouldn't want reviewed or used. Fair enough. Now let's start off with the classic question about the chicken, the fox, and the corn crossing the river. So this is about a man having a fox and a chicken in a sack of corn to be brought across the river, and cannot leave the chicken and the fox together because the fox will eat the chicken, and cannot leave the chicken and the sack of corn together because the chicken will eat the sack of corn. Classic problem, and I would suspect they would both be able to answer this correctly, because a lot of solutions are already available on the internet. And there you'll see Google actually responded much faster. So they were both able to answer the riddle. Now let's play around with this by switching the chicken and the corn. So now the corn will eat the chicken. Let's see how this goes. Sent the message to both ChatGPT. So Gemini is pretty smart. It says, "Oops, you caught me. You're absolutely right. The corn doesn't eat chickens. Here's a classic variation that works." Okay, so it's kind of smart enough to know. And then on the ChatGPT side, it says that there's small typo in your scenario because the corn cannot eat the chicken. And then it tries to answer the question in the classic solution. Alright, fine. I cannot outsmart you. Let's move on to the next question. Now this time, let's try something that requires some level of common sense. Would you advise me to ride a bike to return my rental car at the airport? Of course, for us humans, it wouldn't make sense because you're returning your car, right? So now let's try ask ChatGPT and Bard to answer this trick question. And it tried to answer with some logic around the distance and time, the parking, but didn't really understand the common sense that's needed to be applied here. While Google even consulted with Google Maps to check how far the distance is, and basically it says it's not advisable to return your rental car depending on your fitness level, the weather conditions, and such. Of course, I wouldn't be able to return my car if I rode a bike. ChatGPT used a lot of logic to explain why I shouldn't, so they both didn't understand the trick question. Now let's move on. The next question is about accounting skills. Now I have here an Excel file containing financial ratios, management ratios. This is an activity we do in my masteral class for financial accounting, management accounting, with financial ratios of different industries, namely software, airline, and advertising. And by analyzing financial ratios, you should be able to get an idea what industry a certain financial ratio belong. So this is kind of advanced accounting activity. So let's ask ChatGPT to identify which column belongs to the industry, the software industry, an airline industry, and advertising industry. Now, unfortunately for Google, they cannot support Excel files. So I'm not able to upload the Excel file, but I'll try to upload an image instead of the Excel file. Let's see how smart it is. The correct answer is actually column 1 is software, column 2 is airlines, and column 3 is advertising. There you go. By analyzing the inventory and PPE, ChatGPT was able to accurately identify and analyze the columns correctly. Amazing. Now, because Gemini can only support image, I just copied and pasted the Excel sheets into an image. And let's ask the same question. Can you analyze which columns belong to software industry? And see if it has the same capability of ChatGPT. It says, I cannot analyze which column belongs to the software. So apparently, it's not yet able to. So let's try to ask it a bit more and see if it will try to analyze it. So Google gave up and says it cannot analyze the financial statement. So ChatGPT wins this one. Let's move on to the next question about creative task. So let's ask it to generate an image from a script in my vlog that is hard even for me to come up with a supporting image and see how it goes. That supports the phrase, my fearless forecast is that AI will boost demand for technology in the coming years faster than projections. Let's see how Gemini and ChatGPT performs on image. Alright, so this is the result. ChatGPT generated an image that explains it by saying it visualizes a visionary perspective on the dawn of a new era in the technology driven by AI. Gemini generated something kind of gloomy type of image. I don't really understand. So again, ChatGPT wins in this round. And there you have it. Gemini versus ChatGPT 4. On the reasoning skills, both performed well and answered the questions correctly. With analytical and accounting, Gemini is not able to receive Excel files nor process the image. ChatGPT answered it correctly, and in terms of creative image generation, ChatGPT produced a better image that I still cannot use, but nevertheless, much better than what Gemini performed. Gemini Advanced has improved a lot from the previous version of Bard, so let's not discredit Google in its effort. It's still Google anyway. But I hope you learned something from this episode of Artificially Intelligent.